160 days, Professor Mahmoud will be retired permanently. And the rumors out there is the Northerners are peeing in their pants, scared to their spinal cords, because they know that Tinubu will not be Jonathan of this era. They know that Tinubu will not make a mistake to appoint another Fulani man. You all remember that during the time of Jonathan, he went out there to appoint Professor Jega, who, supervised the ousting, the manipulation, and the rigging of Jonathan out of power. No matter what you want to say, maybe Jonathan was trying to be a one Nigeria, whereas that got us to in this contraption. Like I used to say, any president that goes in there from the south, if you fail to put the interest of your region first, the north will ensure that you become nothing but a parlor dog. Chihuahua, to be precise. Have you seen such? That is what it is. Because we all know during that time when Jonathan pronounced Professor Jega as the Inec chairman, the North were so happy. They were filled with joy. They praised Jonathan that, oh, Jonathan is the best thing after sliced bread. That indeed, they will ensure Jonathan returns. But lo and behold, a year after, everything changed. Here we are today, the Northerners are saying, hey, God, we hope Tinubu will not announce a Yoruba man as a new Inec chairman. But here is the thing. Tinubu is set to announce a Southerner. And in this time, I can guarantee you, he's going to be a Yoruba person, though it might be a Yoruba person from the Middle Belt. This person might be from one of those guys who are from Kwara South or Kogi South. It will bear the Yoruba name just like Ojulari of the NNPC chairman. But on paper, they will tell you, oh, no, it's from North. But we know that his orientation, his beliefs, his allegiance will, of course, be to the Yorubas as it were. What are the lessons to learn so far so good from Tinubu's administration? There are two critical things to learn. One, the North are just having their own interests first before they talk of anything called one Nigeria. The North will continue to profess the one Nigerian mantra provided you respect their interests, provided you are subservient to their demands and pressure. Then secondly, what Nigeria needs is, of course, a southern candidate at every point in time that will not get into power and become a slave to the northern oligarchs. Jonathan proved to us how not to rule as a southerner. Obasanjo was the first president that tried to do it, but somehow Obasanjo, because of the good economic indices he secured, and of course because Obasanjo was ready to prostrate for the Northern Governors Forum in 2003, they gave him the conditionality that by 2007, it must and only be a Northern candidate. That was why overnight, Peter Odili haven't spent so much money. There was a time Peter Odili was raining dollars from the sky. It wasn't on hot balloon. That was my first time of seeing hot balloon. That time, 2003, we saw it here in Lagos. And of course, he was just flying from Abuja. Lo and behold, we saw that Yar'Adua came on board. Yar'Adua wasn't a popular governor. It wasn't spectacular. The likes of the governors that were popular then were, of course, Tinubu. We have Donald Duke. We have the one of, what's it called, Ibori. These guys were popular. Then we had Peter Odili. We have, I think, is it Alamesia, if I'm not mistaken. So, we had so many of them out there. And Obasanjo, somehow, some way, we didn't see him as a stooge, but he was indeed, just that he was an underneath stooge. But the guy who, it was so obvious, was Jonathan. And again, Tinubu has told us how not to be a Jonathan. You don't cower. You don't cower to the North. I am so confident because I know that Tinubu will not do that mistake. It won't be so silly. It won't be so silly or naive to say that I want to go and put one Adamawa for. Does it look like someone that is liberal? Oh no. Yeah, okay. He wants to. You see, I don't know what came upon Jonathan in 2014. I don't know. But it has only proven to you that you don't remain a leader in Nigeria, most especially when you're a federal, president, and you continue to say, "Oh no, I believe in 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 civility. I believe in federal character. I believe in sharing the power." No, 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 no. The North will never let you do that. The North will never allow you to do so many things. You know, it's unfortunate, but it's a welcome idea. If there are Southeasterners that are loyal, maybe from Ebonyi, maybe from Enugu, that are so keenly loyal to Tinubu, I'm not against such. And neither am I against anybody from the middle belt that maybe from the either from the Igbo or the Yoruba extractions. Maybe we have so many of them. We have them in Benue, we have them in Kogi that bear Yoruba names. They even speak Yoruba just as it doesn't matter. The point is you cannot lay down your guards. What the North will do is they will lament, lament, lament. Let me tell you, since 1960, but since 1960, the Northerners have always been the one in charge of Inec. It all started from Fedeco, then it went to Nadeco, then we had Abizin Nedeco, then we had NEC, then we had Inec. Okay? Within 90 within 1999 to date, we have only had one southerner, which was Maurice, if I'm not mistaken. Is it Maurice? Yes. That's Obasanjo nominated. That was the guy that ensured that I can't recall his name, but he was the one that rigged Yaradua into power. Okay, but if you take a look at who are the personnel the Northerners have always elected, no, the Northerners will never make a mistake and elect a Southerner as chairman of INEC. For what? They cannot. They cannot. Look at what Buhari did. Professor Jaga was there, Buhari left him. As of 2019, Jaga was still there. Jaga handed over to Professor Mahmood, which it was supposed to ordinarily go back to the south, because the argument is let it be turn of the north then turn of the south, right? In INEC chairman, that whenever a northerner wants to run, the chairman of the INEC should be a southerner. Whenever that we know that it is the turn of the south, then it should be a northerner that will be the chairman. And that was what Jonathan tried to do. But Jonathan being a man of maybe open-hearted, I don't want to use any unprintable words, all right? He fell for their tricks. He just put in Jega there, and Jega allowed all the shenanigans to happen. What's it called? Those machines that were supposed to be used, everything didn't work. They switched it off. And you see, we saw that one-thumb rigging. One-thumb rigging. The last time I saw Jonathan, when he had a press brief, he said that the reason why he didn't win was because that then that voting machine was disabled, and he just didn't want to. I mean, I will play you just a snippet of it, just for you to remind you how not to be a president, especially how not to be a southern president. So you guys think Tinubu will now be so so liberal? You guys think Tinubu will be liberal? He will go out and go into Sokoto or go into Adamawa or go into Borodo or go to Kano and go and pick one? No, 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 no. That policy or that gentleman agreement that we've always agreed amongst ourselves, that when it is the north of the north, let a southerner be the chairman. When it is the north of the south, when it is the turn of the north, it was Buhari that broke it. He broke it. Okay, Buhari came on board. He scattered everything, because I remember that Obasanjo tried to respect that, that gentleman agreement. Jonathan also tried to respect such as at 2014. But 2014 to 2022, 23 election, Buhari said, damn the consequences, nothing will happen. So I think I would support if Tinubu appoints a Southerner as the Inec chairman this time. In fact, if Tinubu wants to appoint a Yoruba person, if he wants to appoint a Lagos Igbo man, in fact, if he wants to appoint anybody in his coven, I don't care. I don't care, because we all know who Professor Mahmoud was to Buhari. We all saw what he was, and it is too late for the likes of Jega as at this time to be coming out to be shouting, telling us, "Oh, it is too early to start election campaigns." That Tinubu, why is Tinubu such in a hurry? Why is Tinubu? No, 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 no. Jega, your own turn as a chairman has passed. Please allow the new chairman that will be coming in the next 60 days come and determine what will happen. Let the new chairman come in, because at this time, what we are trying to do is aura for aura, gbas for gbos for gbas. If una talk say na one craze, who go tell us say we feel mad? As simple as that. It's a perpetual competition between north and south. Nobody dey joke here, and I hope the likes of Peter Obi are learning that you don't play hanky panky with the north. You don't play it. Now that hanky panky wey they play for ADC now him we don't know where Obi dey. We are all lost, confused. We don't even know what to expect. Obi himself does not even know what to expect, unless it gets to that point that the north bows down. No, this fight nobody go settle am. Let us quickly listen to how Jonathan said, "Oh, this thing was disabled. That was why I lost." Let's listen to him quickly.
There's always balancing between North and South, Muslims and Christians. And Yar'Adua was a Northern Muslim, who was the president. And he took over from a Southern Christian, Obasanjo, who ruled for 8 years. So definitely the Northern Muslims wanted Yar'Adua to at least do 8 years before he could come back to the South for another, probably a Christian, to take over. But well, the health issue came up, and it was the problem. And that is why even to allow me to act was an issue. When Yar'Adua was going for the medical checkup, actually a letter was written. Of course, the Constitution says that for the Vice President to act, the President will send a letter to the Senate and the House of Rep, informing them. That letter was written, but the person who the letter was handed over to, I will not mention the name to you now, was one of the aides of Yar'Adua, refused to submit the letter to the National Assembly. And Yar'Adua became so ill that he had no control of issues. So we had the country where the president was not available and there was no acting president. Yes, as a vice president, you can take over the responsibilities of some responsibilities of the president. You know, the president of Nigeria has two main responsibilities. First, you're the chief executive of the country, just like a prime minister of a country. That the vice president can assume, wait, you don't need any transfer. And I was doing that because we're having an executive council meeting, we're approving memos from ministers, so the government was going on. But there was no commander-in-chief. What is the second responsibility of the president of Nigeria, besides being the executive head of the country? And there's nothing like acting commander-in-chief. Either you're a commander-in-chief or not. But when you become an acting president, you are at the same time a commander-in-chief. So that was lacking, and no country allows that gap. A country like America, you don't allow that gap at all. Yes. If American president wants to, even if it's a Whitlow, that he require anesthesia, that he will be off for 5 minutes, he will hand over to the vice president. Yes. Before that procedure. Immediately he regained consciousness to take over. But we stayed for some time. And that led to what they call the doctrine of necessity. When the National Assembly felt that the country was in a situation where it was not expected, they now have to initiate this doctrine of necessity, and they now made me to act as the president without the letter from Yar'Adua. So the country was tense. And under this North-South divide, Christian-Muslim divide, it was really tense. And every day I was hearing about coup. I remember one day, I will not mention the names of some of my friends, came to look, Vice President, that time I was not even acting. They have not even moved the doctrine of necessity. I was still the Vice President. No, you don't have to sleep here. You have to come and sleep in my guest house, and so on. I said, no, I will stay in the State House. If anybody wants to kill me, it's better you kill me in the State House, so the Nigerians will know that they assassinated me in the State House. They know I have not committed any offense. If I decided to go and stay in a guest house, and wherever I'm going, security people would know. And if people go and kill me there, they will now say Indian girls brought apple to kill me. And I wouldn't want that kind of story. But if they assassinate, it's better that I die here in the State House than being assassinated outside the State House, because all kinds of stories will come up. So that was how tense it was. And to me, I was not bothered. Really, I was not bothered. And I was very calm. But that was the scenario.
Elections are a fundamental requirement for democratic development. Through elections, citizens exercise choice from competing party platforms and candidates. They choose those to represent them in the legislature. They fill elective positions in the executive branches, and quite often, even in the judicial branches of government. For elections to be meaningful, democratic, and beneficial to citizens, they should have integrity. And that's why there is a lot of talk in the literature about electoral integrity. That means they have to be rule-based, they need to be transparent, they need to be free and fair in court, and they need to have a level playing field for all participating political parties and candidates. Similarly, their preparation and conduct must be seen to be professional, efficient, non-partisan, and impartial. Now, campaigns are very important aspects of elections. Indeed, election campaigns play a significant role in deepening democracy, especially in countries such as ours that are called or referred to as developing democracies. Through election campaigns, parties and candidates advertise themselves and their ideas and their positions to the electorate so that they can be chosen and elected by the electorate from an array of competing parties and candidates. But like all aspects of elections, campaigns are also essentially rule-based. Their period and duration are defined by either the provisions of the constitutions and/or especially by acts of the legislature. And they are also regulated by election management bodies. Thus, in virtually all electoral jurisdictions, the period for commencement and end of campaigns are specified. Sanctions are often provided for violations,